Chana masala is one of northern India's most popular vegetarian dishes. Now, there are lots of versions of chana masala, but they all feature chickpeas and an array of spices. And today, Dan's going to make my favorite version with garam masala, tomatoes, and cilantro.
I'm so excited. It's such a comforting dish. And the way we're going to make it, it's like perfect weeknight meal food. So you want to make it all the time, basically. So we're going to start with our aromatics, and I have a red onion here. I'm just going to cut this into 4 pieces through the stem end there. We're going to use it in 2 ways. For part of it here, I'm going to mince it fine, and that's going to be for the garnish. And the other, we're going to use our food processor to break it down.
Oh, I love that trick. Quartering the onion, and you slice it one way, and you tip it on the other side, and you slice it vertically the other way. It eliminates that whole horizontal messy business that everybody hates, especially if you're a beginner at knife skills.
Yep, it's a great trick. So we're going to transfer this over to a little bowl for garnish. So for these pieces, I'm just going to do a really rough, this is going to go in the food processor, so we just want to break them down a little bit. Next up, cilantro. So we're going to use stems and leaves here. The stems are obviously packed with flavor. I'm just cutting these into kind of rough 1-inch pieces. Also goes into the food processor. Onto the rest of our aromatics. We've got gingers. This is a 1.5-inch piece of ginger that's been peeled and cut kind of just coarsely. And it's matched with a classic pairing, which is garlic. So this is 2 cloves that we've peeled and just cut coarsely. And that ginger and garlic combination is so important in cooking across the Indian subcontinent, where a lot of times it's so common that people have a paste made up ahead of time, and you can just use a spoon of it and add to things.
That'd be handy.
Yeah, it's fabulous. And then finally, so this is a couple Serrano chilies that I stemmed, seeded, so got rid of some of the heat there. We're gonna add half of them to the food processor here, so they're gonna cook into the dish. I'm gonna save the other half, along with the onion, for garnish.
Spicy.
So I'm going to use the food processor to get a really nice fine grind on it, and it's going to take about 20 seconds. I'll scrape down as needed. So when I'm scraping down and working in the bottom here, one really simple tip that I love is to always come against the back of the blade if you're going to stir through and move it that way. If you go the other way, your spatula gets caught on the blade and it cuts really, really easily. So it's a super simple thing.
And many of my spatulas have little nicks in it.
They all do, right? Yeah. So I'm going to transfer this over to our saucepan here, and I've got 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil already in here, but it's not heated. And so if this were heated and we added all this wet, kind of almost juiced veg, you're going to get a lot of splatter. So this is just starting it all cold together, and then we'll bring it up. So we're not going to clean this. We're going to use it for our tomatoes in a second.
Okay.
Great, so now we've got this in here. I'm gonna bring it up over medium-high heat, and we're gonna cook until it's really nice and soft, and some of the aromatics start to stick to the bottom of the pan. It's gonna take anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes. All right, we're gonna multitask. While that's going, we're gonna go with a 1 can of 14.5-ounce can of whole peeled tomatoes. We're gonna go right into the food processor. So with chana masala, you see a lot of different textures. Some can be a lot coarser and chunkier. We want something that's really nice and smooth. So that's why we process the veg that way, and that's where we're gonna do the tomatoes really fine. This will take about 30 seconds. It's been about 5 minutes. You can see the veg is nice and soft. It's cooked down a lot, and it's starting to stick to the pan a little bit. Right, we're getting a little of that fond and that great flavor. So that is perfect. It's time for our spices. So first up, we have a teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder. This is, I mean, you can see that color is absolutely brilliant. We also have a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and half a teaspoon of fennel seeds. And now we've got the fat that's already in there, those 3 tablespoons of oil. And what's really great about this step in the process is you're getting those spices in contact with the fat, and they're loaded with oil-soluble flavors. So the oil pulls it out, and then that just permeates the whole dish.
You can smell it as soon as they get stirred into that pan. Just this waft of spice washing over us. It smells delicious.
In just about a minute, it'll get really aromatic and bloom those spices nicely. Okay, so next up, we're gonna add our chickpeas. So obviously the key to the dish here. We're using canned chickpeas. You can totally use dried for this recipe. Obviously they need to soak and then cook. Canned chickpeas are fabulous, and these are cooked about 90% of the way there, so we really like that. And we also have this wonderful liquid, this aquafaba. It's gonna add a lot of body to the dish. Great, and then finally our tomato. Great. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up to a boil, and we're going to lower the heat, maintain a simmer, covered, cook about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so it's been 15 minutes.
It smells delicious.
It smells incredible,
it does.
right? So a lot of the spices that we added earlier, they permeate the dish because they got into the fat. We talked about that. But a lot of them, everything you smell in the air is also, volatilized. So it's not in the pot anymore.
Right.
And so one of the beautiful things about so much Indian cooking is the staggering of spices. And so we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of garam masala at this point in the process. And we're going to retain a lot more of those volatiles. So you'll taste a lot more of it in the dish.
Interesting.
And then we've also got a 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
All right, so the garam masala is in. How much longer on the simmer time?
8-12 minutes, and we're going to thicken this up, and it's just going to be really, really nice. And then we get to eat.
I can't wait.
This is my perfect consistency for chana masala. It's really thickened and beautiful, but it's still got tons of nice brothiness to it. So the next step, the final step here, is to taste it and season it up, make sure that we have the salt exactly how we want. So just give it a quick stir. That's always a good idea when you're seasoning. Make sure it's nice and even. Doesn't need anything. Doesn't
Really?
need any salt at all. Yeah, it's perfect. So I'm going to transfer this lovely shallow bowl over here.
What a nice serving bowl for this.
So we're going to add some of our minced onion. So these are stem-seeded and sliced serranos. And then we've got some gorgeous just cilantro leaves. Obviously we have the stems and everything in there, so it just brings all those bright flavor notes right to the top.
Beautiful. What's also beautiful is that bowl over there.
Yes, I was wondering if you were going to see that.
How could you not?
I know.
mean, how could you not look at that bowl and think, how beautiful are those?
So this is a classic accompaniment to chickpeas. This is badura, and they're these gorgeous fry breads. They puff up in this gorgeous, gorgeous way.
And you can find a recipe for those on our website.
Time to eat.
Time to eat. This is one of my favorite meals.
And some lime wedge, if you would like there.
I'm going to put a little lime on mine.
So there's a spoon, but you don't need it because you have badura.
Yeah. So good, that combination of flavors. The garam masala, the lime, a little bit of heat, the fresh onion.
It's all coming from like the spices and kind of, and the tomatoes add a ton of depth to it too. But if you're not a vegetarian, you eat a lot of meat, like you're so happy with this.
And this badura is just gilding the lily for me.
Isn't it? It's
yes. Dan, this is absolutely delicious. Thank you.
You're welcome.
To make this incredibly satisfying dish, make a puree of onion, ginger, and garlic. Cook the puree for a few minutes before adding the spices and chickpeas, but save the garam masala for the final few minutes of cooking. From America's Test Kitchen, a North Indian classic, chana masala. You can get this recipe, all the recipes and product reviews from this season, along with select episodes, at our website, americastestkitchen.com/TV. I've got to learn how to make this badura next.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the two have to go together now.
It's such a perfect combination.
Thanks for watching America's Test Kitchen. What'd you think?
Well, leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or you can just say hello.
You can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
I'll see you later.